Welcome back to the CONVO Couch, ladies and gentlemen. I am Pasta Jardula.
I'm Fiorella.
And Johnny Sue is on the ones and two, Sunday style. Does everything sound good? Does everything look good? How do I look? I mean, mainly me. How do I look? Do I look good, everybody, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you very much. I do. So we got 32 over on the CONVO Couch YouTube.
Nice.
You know how we start with 32, but we'll be over 100 in no time because you guys give us so much love. Michael Cruz is there. Chris David. Philip Blair's. Ghost Rider DOF, David Morrow, Nizar G. Nice. How are you? And Armin Manugian. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you for all our... We have 69 Patreons. We're one away from 70. So if you want to be that 70 Patreon, we'll mention your name and give you a big virtual hug next time you do so. On the Facebook, Steve Wilbrandt. Good to see you, my friend. Janine True Jenkins, Matthew Sevilla, and also... That's it. So let's get to work, fam, because... Who? No, he's not. Jai. Where? He's on Facebook? He's on Facebook. Oh, he's on YouTube. Jai? Love the coffee. Need more. Some of the best coffee in the world. We love you, Jai Gabbard. And we're going to be talking a little bit Tulsi today, so I'm glad that you're here.
We are.
So the title of the show is Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I took aside from my New York Jets and my football to come be with our fams.
Yeah, because your Jets lose all the time, fans.
Yeah, they're winning now. They're beating the Cowgirls, which you might be happy with because I think you think the Cowboys suck too, right? I mean, Dak Prescott is Johnny's favorite quarterback, so it's a shame for him. So let's talk off the bat. Let's talk about your boy Bernie Sanders, okay? Because your Bernie Sanders, your man, I think he's kind of giving the Heisman Trophy stiff arm to Which Way Warren. You want to take a look, fam, and then analyze right after?
Yes, of course.
All right, here's the Burn Man.
So let me ask you, you and Elizabeth Warren have pretty close to identical positions on the big issues. What do you say to those who say that they would pick her because she's 8 years younger than you, she didn't just come through this, didn't just have a heart attack, and look, in the positions, you're pretty much the same?
Well, look, every American is going to make his or her own choice about the candidate that they want, and Elizabeth Warren has been a friend of mine for some 25 years. And I think she is a very, very good senator. But there are differences between Elizabeth and myself. Elizabeth, I think, as you know, has said that she is a capitalist through her bones. I'm not. I am, I believe, the only candidate who's going to say to the ruling class of this country, the corporate elite, enough with your greed and with your corruption. We need real change in this country.
All right, fam. He used the words, she's a capitalist to her bones, and I am not. And I'm the only one who's going to stand up against this corporate interest, kind of hinting that she might take that money because she said so.
Right. If he hadn't said that, I think, it would have... A lot of people have been calling for him to differentiate himself between himself and Elizabeth Warren because, unfortunately, a lot of people in the media and some quote-unquote progressives have been trying to prop up this idea of both of them being the same, being equitable, when that's so far from it. And people are like, well, they have civil differences. No, this isn't a civil difference. This is a difference in structure. This is a difference in complete ideology. Bernie Sanders wants to get rid of the system. He wants to change it. Elizabeth Warren wants to work within the system. That is a very, very big difference.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise them. They have such different ideologies that I wouldn't even advise two people like that to end up in a sort of marriage, because I just feel like, and VP and president and stuff, it's a marriage. And I think just the idea that, they're the same because she's repeating a lot of the things he says needs to be completely just done with. Because the more we do that, the more you prop her up, and the media is already propping her up. The pundits are all doing it. Third Way is doing it. Neera Tanden's doing it. Yeah. We don't need, and even Wall Street lobbyists are comfortable with her. We've talked about it before, how they've been, she's okay. She's not that bad. Yeah. We really just don't like Bernie Sanders.
You know who else she's really good for is the military-industrial complex. She's terrible when it comes to foreign policy. And I believe Johnny Sue has something to show from Nina Turner. And I know you love your girl Nina and stuff like that. Yeah. You've been saying this from the get-go. Nina knows who her allies are. And she understands that it's Tulsa over there, not so much Elizabeth Warren. And I think Elizabeth Warren is the big death trap. If we somehow allow her to be the nominee, it's game over. Lights over. She will never be Donald Trump. She does not have a chance whatsoever. So I think him differentiating himself from Elizabeth Warren, we've been waiting for this, fam. We're going to say, when is he going to differentiate himself from Elizabeth Warren? Because a lot of people of the burners are split. Some of them want Elizabeth Warren as their second choice, and some want Tulsi. It's a clear-cut choice. You got to go with the Tulsinator.
Exactly. And just before he goes there, the Tulsinator.
I must break you.
Before we go there, I just want to say that yes, there is a divide, but I think the majority of the grassroots Bernie supporters are definitely not about Warren. Even if they don't necessarily love or embrace Tulsi, they really don't like Warren. And I say that as somebody on the ground, like talking to people every day that are part of this movement. Absolutely no, nothing about Warren. And definitely they see that Tulsi was the one who stepped down and backed Bernie Sanders and is so they think she is pivotal to his success, and like she exists a lot. I mean, she's so great on her own. She has her own ideas and she's different, but at the same time, it is this new idea of we're going to challenge the status quo. We're going to be the anti-establishment. We're going to stand up and say things. And, you know, like we talked about it the other day, Tulsi is the one that has actually been so vocal about not only Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and the entire establishment, but also the DNC and what they did to Bernie in 2016. Things that a lot of the times he's advised not to talk about because it'll make him seem like a bunch of conspiracy theorists, because that's what they threw at us back then when we know what really happened. And so it's so brave of her to actually be, you know, standing up and saying this over and over again, whereas Elizabeth is like embracing the DNC. And we cannot afford to embrace the status quo because it's obviously not working.
I remember one of the Jimmy Dore shows we went to live, and it was the one right after Donna Brazile released the book Rigged, and he was like so happy, and we were just standing up. Now we know they called us conspiracy theorists, and she made a book called Rigged. No, the book was titled Rigged. What was it called? Donna Brazile.
I thought it was titled. It was.
They changed it. No, it was never Hacks.
No, she. I'm pretty sure she put out.
Someone else put a book out named
Are you sure? Put Donna Brazile Rigged and just see if anything comes up. Kind of curious.
I thought she. No, you know what? She mentioned it in her. She said those words in her book, but I'm not entirely sure what the name of the book was. She did say those words in her book, though.
Okay, I guess it was hacked. That shows off.
It's a Mandela effect, you guys. We're in a different universe now.
Wow. Rigged. No, I think they changed the title, to be honest with you. I'm almost positive that book was named Rigged.
You guys
Ladies
have heard
on
of
the
the
YouTube,
Mandela
can you help
effect,
us
right?
out? Am I going crazy over here?
Oscar
Or was that
Mayer
book named
versus
Rigged?
Oscar Mayer. The
Guys.
Bernstein Bears versus Bernstein.
Oh,
Bears.
dude, that was like the crazy one.
The Mandela effect.
Who's that?
It's real.
Whose book is that, Rigged? Am I going nuts? All right, I think I'm going nuts. I think I'm wrong. Anyways, we got 88 people watching on the YouTube over there. Guys, we need 100, okay? Or we can't work mellifluously. Johnny, did you want to show anything else? Ooh, we got 20 over on the Faces books.
Hey, Facebook.
Johnny, you want to show anything else before we get to the Tulsinator? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's show it. Cause you know Fee loves her Nina.
Nina
Boom.
T.
Read it. Yeah, I want you to read it. The people got to hear your voice, Johnny. Everybody says they need you like they need more cowbell. I need more Johnny Sue.
All right. So Nina Turner posted the at Bernie Sanders to John Carl on This Week ABC on why he's the one to take on corruption and unfettered greed in the system. Doing so requires a political revolution. Let the contrast begin, baby. So yeah, she basically posted the
interview.
Let the contrast begin.
Yeah.
That's big. Huge. Huge.
Nina is one of the people closest to Bernie, and one of the people that I fully trust, that is on our side, that is always standing with progressives no matter what. And, you know, if we recall back in 2016, she, Tulsi, and Bernie were all, you know, together in a lot of these events. And Tulsi was part of the Sanders Institute with Jane Sanders and you know, Nina and everybody that was, you know, a Sanders surrogate. And it's one of the best things to see, like the older interviews where they had things together and they talked about things together. the reason I mention this is because there's a lot of smears going on around Tulsi about her. There's obviously always valid criticisms that people may have, but there's a difference between that and the smears. And if you look at the only two people being brutally smeared, where they're doing things to their faces, where they're like completely lying and disregarding, focusing on their health, like when it comes to Bernie, and then when it comes to Tulsi, just focusing on like smear articles from several years ago that they're rehashing. The only two people are Tulsi and Bernie, and it's coincidental, right?
Yeah.
That they are the ones that are challenging the establishment, the billionaires, the money makers, the elites of this country, and Tulsi is challenging a lot of the military-industrial complex, and that's so dangerous, as we've seen before. So to me, it is very, very clear the people that the establishment is against are the people that I usually trust. And Elizabeth Warren has never been part of the Sanders Institute. She has never been part of these progressive areas. It's not, you know what I mean? I'm not just saying that because I don't like her. I'm saying that because it's true. And so there's definitely not, I wouldn't pair the two, Warren and Bernie, because they come from different ideologies. Yeah, and Elizabeth Warren was a Republican, if you guys recall.
She was. And when Neera Tanden picks you and the mainstream media says, we'll settle with you, that's cause for concerns, because that means she's willing to play ball. And, show that picture right over here about Tulsi and Nina. And I also want to state out, fam, look how beautiful that is. It says, love you, sis. Look at that hug. Look at that embrace. Wow. Two women that I truly love, admire. You are heroes, ladies, and you keep going.
And they're showing solidarity. And they might be working on two separate campaigns. Yeah. And again, this is how you do it. You don't have to hate your opponent if you guys are on the right side of justice. Exactly. And even if you're not, you attack on policy. You don't have to go and attack on other things that are so low. And so I think, Tulsi's very careful about that and always embraces the aloha, but she still goes after, for instance, on Kamala Harris's policy. Yep. So
Tulsi, we're going to talk a little bit more about. And let me just say this one thing before we get to the video of Tulsi, while Johnny gets ready to show the video where Tulsi unequivocally shows our domestic policy tied to our foreign policy. One of my political friends told me the other day, they said pretty soon, eventually, they're going to ditch Elizabeth Warren and they're going to go to Pete Buttigieg next. So I don't know, fam. You made a video about Pete Buttigieg. I think you pointed out three candidates. Three candidates in particular we have to pay attention to. Though. You made many videos about it, but you said Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. She was up in the polls. She got devastated in that debate. Boom, she goes down. You made a video before that about Pete Buttigieg, which might circle the wagons, and you also made a picture of videos about Elizabeth Warren. So if you want to know about electoral politics and foreign policy over here, the Convo Couch is where it's at. And when we talk about foreign policy is directly tied to our domestic policy. And I am so sick and tired of wasting my breath and talking to people who are like, oh, no, we have to take care of domestic stuff first. Okay, I get it. I understand it's important to you. But it's tied. It's connected. Take a look.
Reporters ask me sometimes, why do you always talk about foreign policy? There are so many other issues that we're dealing with. I tell them you cannot separate our foreign policy from domestic policy, because these decisions that are being made that are costing us lives and they're costing us taxpayer dollars that are being taken out of our pockets and that are being taken out of our communities has a direct impact on our everyday lives. This issue of the cost of war is central to our ability to make sure we've got health care for all, to make sure our kids are getting a quality education, to make sure that our infrastructure is safe and sustainable, to make sure that we're investing in a clean, green economy, investing in a workforce of the future. That's why I will end these regime change wars, work to end this new Cold War that we're in with escalating tensions almost every day between the US and nuclear-armed countries like Russia and China. This nuclear arms race that's been kicked off. The leadership that I bring will allow us to have a foreign policy that's based on cooperation rather than conflict.
There you go.
Working out our differences with other countries without pushing us constantly to the brink of war. Without thinking that the only way that we engage with other countries is by bombing them or waging an economic war. No, it's not good for us and it's not good for them. Using the tools of diplomacy, building those lines of communication to make sure that they're open, to de-escalate these tensions. to make sure that we're investing our dollars and redirecting those trillions of dollars we've been spending and either putting them back in our pockets or using them to serve the everyday needs that we have. So the challenges are great before us. There's a lot of people who've been profiting from this stuff for a really long time. But there's nothing more powerful than our voices when we the people rise up and say no more. Okay. No more.
There you are, fam. There's the connection. And she also mentioned that people profit from it. She understands it. And more importantly, we talked about Russiagate. The most dangerous thing about Russiagate is that's a nuclear armed country we're going face to face with when we should be making progress for peace. Go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
No, I just, I 100% agree with her. I don't think there's a difference. I think getting people to see that is the hardest part because people are suffering here economically. They are not able to pay their rent. They are, they can't go to the doctor. They can't take care of their most basic human needs. And we have to be able to connect that the reason we can't do that is because our military is so powerful and so corrupt. And not only that, it not only is taking away from us, but it is using that money to go and kill other people abroad in our name, in the name of democracy, in the name of humanitarian aid. And then, it is creating more of an immigrant crisis, not only in Central America, but in the Middle East as well. And it's all connected. And the reason we don't have any resources for our own people is because our resources are constantly spent elsewhere. Yeah. It's not that we don't have the money. It's the money is being misallocated and put somewhere else. And she's really, truly pointing that out. And I think it's a very important thing to point out. And, again, this is why I like Bernie and her in a sort of administration. I'm not necessarily sure what she would choose because it would be up to her. But I think Tulsi in an administration with somebody like Bernie, or the other way around, whatever it may be, is having what the other one doesn't have. It's like that augmenting domestic policies. Yes, it's building on each other. Using each other's strengths to be like one giant thing, because the thing is, no one person, Bernie says it all the time, it's not me, it's about us. This is about all of us working together, getting involved in the political process. And what more how much better could we see that than when these two people come and I see where they would fit and where they would play in an administration that would probably be the best administration, because we cannot just have only great domestic policies here and then be engaged in regime change wars abroad, because eventually that will come back and hurt us again.
Any military spending comes directly from bills passed by Congress, which is brand new money. Michael Cruz, you're right. Two things we got to learn, ladies and gentlemen: MMT and foreign policy. That's where we're lacking. We have to understand that. And not only the money, fam, that we always talk about, why we can't have nice things if we're in this monetary system and we waste all our new money on war. But what about the fact that we're going around and bombing indigenous people of color all around the world? Isn't there any compassion for my social justice warriors out there who are so concentrated on things over here? I'd like you to swing some of that energy to what's going around worldwide, understanding where the money comes from and what we do with that money to kill people, okay? It's really, really bad. But also, fam, this is another reason why you know that Tulsi is one of the good ones, because Elizabeth Warren doesn't have articles like from the New York Times that came out that smears every single smear in one article on the New York Times. Johnny, you can put it up there real quick. We can show it. It says, what exactly is going on with Tulsi Gabbard? I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, Tulsi responded to this, and this is why Tulsi, these are the people that will also be help moderating the debate this Tuesday. And there's another reason why Tulsi said, you know what, maybe I might skip to the debates because they're going to just come out with more smear attacks. This thing has everything. The Modi accusations, her talking to Assad, everything it has in this article. Name something, anything, any type of smear that's been debunked for so long is in this article. This is the same newspaper, fam, that lied us into the Iraq war.
And it's very Russia-phobic. So it's very pro-Russiagate.
Yeah, very much so.
And just what I want to point out, Johnny, I don't know if you can go to my Twitter. I posted I had to delete and post a new one, but I posted I redid their article for them, like their little title. situation, because I think the New York Times needs help, fam, and I think I'm going to apply to them because they obviously need editors of some sort where they're not really understanding. They're not really understanding.
I mean, they named everybody in that. Michael Sirkonovich. They named David Duke.
Yep.
They named any type of person that she spoke to or anybody who praised her.
Yeah.
They mentioned her to make it look bad. You know, like, oh, she's been praised and endorsed by David Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Get that
she
here.
rescinded that, by the way. She was like,
did.
I
she
don't
sent that
want...
money back. Yeah.
There was no... Well, he was like, I support you. And she's like, I don't want your support.
Yeah.
Like, it's this thing where, in that moment you do have to say it. So I said Representative Tulsi Gabbard hit up to 6% in major polls, passing, quote, top tier Kamala Harris and qualifying strongly for Tuesday's debate. But an array of smear articles have followed her ever since she endorsed outsider Bernie Sanders in 2016 and decided to run as an anti-establishment candidate herself in 2020, leaving many wondering if she's getting smeared because she's calling the DNC, mainstream media, yours truly, and the entire establishment out on their bullshit. I mean, she dared utter the words, "It's rigged." It's funny to me that, and the title is, what exactly is the New York Times issue with Tulsi Gabbard and other progressives? Because when I say progressives, I don't include Elizabeth Warren in there. I only include progressives.
Did that get
Bernie
a lot of hit, that
Sanders.
tweet?
No, it did, and then I had to delete it because there was a typo, and so I just posted one, so no.
So this one below is the real one, right? The
below, yeah.
Representative Tulsi
Yeah, I
Gabbard.
did it so it looks exactly like pretty much like they wrote it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
that's
You got to
hilarious.
text us that when you do those things so we know, because, you hit tweets out there left and right. You're a tweeter. And if you haven't gone on Fee's tweet, please do so. All our Twitters, and even Johnny's been putting up some great stuff. He had a great video last week we got from Ecuador, and that's been getting a lot of play, plus his memes that he makes. They are some of the best memes. If you haven't seen the Tulsi Gabbard meme of "I don't wanna play no game, okay, you got to see it. But that was that. Let's get on to the next topic, fam, because we got to move quickly here.
Yes.
Okay, so the Syrian army is. Oh, Johnny, I'm sorry. Did you want to say anything on that topic before I move on? Okay, next topic here, and I'm gonna say hi to a couple people because we do have 152 watching. Astro Boy joined the group. Ghost Rider DOF, Lori Mountain Gal Pal, and my boy Deep Space and Squids McCracken are also hanging out with Giovanna Liviana. And on the Facebook, we have a few peeps too as well. Just want to say hi. 31, Sarah Williams, where you been? You're always late to the party, Sarah. We love you, but we're glad you're here. Paul Cherry, Medicare for All. We should have wore our berets today. I want to wear my berets again
It's
soon.
going to get colder. It's getting colder, so
Yes,
I'm going to wear my blue Bernie beret, and he has the...
I have a dark red one. Those are from, and I might wear it tomorrow for the show, because tomorrow we're going to have the people who are driving the Bernie van around.
Yes.
If you haven't seen the Bernie van,
go
they're
to my
gonna be in
Facebook
studio.
profile or
Yes.
Twitter, where you'll see pictures and videos of the Bernie van. It's really cool.
All right, fam, let's talk a little bit about Syria. I'm going to try to go slow with this and not get ahead of myself because I know there's so much information, and hopefully Howard's watching out there. So the Syrian army is moving north to join the Kurds to fight the Turkish invasion.
Yes.
We said this on the last show. This is a marriage that is inevitable, okay? And when Tulsi said some stuff that Donald Trump didn't allow the Kurds to really do business, is what she was talking about is that we've always given the Kurds money, and they had a choice to either go one way or the other. And they chose to take the money because they thought maybe they can get their Kurdistan state back with the help of the United States. Broken promises from Donald Trump, broken promises from George Bush, broken promises from the United States when it comes to the Kurds. But once again, the Kurds got a little bit on their hands as well. So RT News right here is presented that they are going north. Now, this is a marriage that's inevitable. It looks like the Turks are going to try to get into that safe buffer zone. And it's the truth. We didn't pull out of Syria. We just moved out of the way so Turkey can come through. But, and I have a little tweet here too as well. It's on the Twitter. It shows this is Assad back in late February or late January or early February. And watch what he's saying. He's telling the Kurds, hey, listen, the United States is going to abandon you. They're not going to take care of you. Guess what? He's right, because we always do that. Take a look. Here's Assad.
الأمريكي لن يحميكم. الأمريكي لن يضعكم لا في قلبه ولا في حضنه. الأمريكي سيضعكم في جيبه لكي تكونوا أداة للمقايضة مع الدولارات التي يحملها، وهو بدأ بالمقايضة. إذا لم تحضروا أنفسكم للدفاع عن بلدكم وللمقاومة فلن تكونوا سوى عبيد عند العثماني. لن يحميكم سوى دولتكم. لن يدافع عنكم سوى الأمريكي لن يحميكم.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? And what he's quoting is right, and a lot of people don't realize this. They think that Russia and the United States got rid of the Al-Qaeda and ISIS. It wasn't. It was mostly the Syrian army, okay? And he's telling them right now, he's almost saying, you're citizens here. You're part of Syria, okay? Join us together, and we'll defend off the Turks. Not the other way around. Don't take the Americans' deal. They did, and now look what's happening. But the most important thing is now, fam, we need to pressure Donald Trump. Everybody out there, pull out of Syria for real. For real.
For real.
Pull out. That's my final answer. I know some people were saying we shouldn't let the Kurds get slaughtered. No, we're fueling the atrocities there. Get the hell out. Get out. So this is something I think positive right here, because Syria has no choice too as well, fam. Because if they don't join with the Kurds, the Turkish army can push deeper into Syria.
Right.
And this is a whole big cluster F. You know, everybody's funding everybody. We were funding with Obama, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. Then we're sitting there funding the Kurds to get rid of ISIS, Al-Qaeda on the Turkish border. Then our NATO ally Turkey's complaining. It's obvious that Donald Trump made a deal with Turkey, but this is just a crazy cluster F that we need to get out of there. And Tulsi said it the other day, we need to pull out of there for real. Get the hell out of there.
Not just do what Donald Trump is doing.
He just got out of the way.
Right. So we have to differentiate between what Donald Trump is doing and what we need to be doing, which is two separate things.
Yeah. So now this is a standby situation. There were some towns on the border of Turkey that have really got hit hard, and they were Kurdish towns. But once again, they were proxies that we helped the Kurds get rid of the Al-Qaeda, pretty much this Hobani region, which is right on the border, which has the female troops, the Kurdish troops that have just taken arms. They lost their husbands, their sons in these wars, so they're taking up arms. It's really a great story, but it seems like Donald Trump is going to give them that buffer zone. They have about 2 million to 3 million refugees in Turkey, and I think that Erdogan wants to move them there, occupy that territory, that 25 kilometer buffer zone, and then eventually, with all these refugees living there, bring in the United Nations down the road and make it Turkish land. The whole point is right now is that Syria can't let them push too far. So Syria's got to get up to the Syrian Arab army, who's done most of the work, join with the Kurds, and hold them still. Get the hell out of the region and just don't mess around. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, very complicated situation.
What do you say to people that say, "Oh, we can't just let our allies get slaughtered"?
Once again, I don't want to sound harsh and awful to the Kurds, but they got some dirt on their hands too, fam, as well. There's claims there's some Muslim minorities that they have killed out. And don't get me wrong, they've been in the middle of everything. We've lied to them. We've used them. But this is a deal that has to work out between the Syrian Arab army, Assad, and the Kurds themselves. If we stay there, we're going to still fuel the tension. If we get out, we give them a shot to achieve peace, which we shouldn't have been there in the first place. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. Let's not forget who did this. So.
And just looking at this, like the United States is trying to paint this as, oh, it's Syria doing this, like it's Syria against them, when that's not the reality. The Syrians are going to stand with the Kurds against Turkey. And I think we're just getting in the way of that, as Pasta's saying. But the way the mainstream media is spinning it is like, no, we have to stay there because Syria and Assad.
We don't want the Kurds getting slaughtered.
Exactly. No. And that's not that's not what's happening here. So we need to be very specific about what we are going to be doing.
Let's make one thing abundantly clear. The United States government, when they did this, the military-industrial complex, their goal was to remove Assad. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And once again, Assad has his dirt on his hands too as well. We're not saying that he's an angel, and when Tulsi went to talk to him, she also talked to both sides, trying to buffer a deal. But at the end of the day, we need to get out. That's my final answer. I know people are saying, well, what, the Kurds? No, we need to get out. The Kurds and the Syrian army, that's a match, that's a marriage that's inevitable. Let it happen. Get out of the region. Give peace a chance, okay? Because by moving out of the way, we just kind of escalated the fuel to starting this civil war up back again and just throwing another Turkish interest in there. We need to get out.
Right.
So, saying hi to some people real quick. Ghostwriter DOF, you're still there with us. Astro Boy has joined the group. Hey, Frederick Murphy, how you doing? Eder 120,
Hello,
David Harris,
everybody.
one of our Patreons, we love you, David Harris.
David Harris.
Carrie Holder, we got 181. Jay Bird, I said we need 200, guys. Come on, before we end.
He said 100.
Well, I lied. I said I meant 200. Deep Space, Michael Cruz, we love you all. And on the Facebook, we still got some people pumping. Adam Prine, we love you. Mike Rundin, Steve Wilbrant, still making Kurdish women kick ass. You better believe they do, Steve Wilbrant. And you know who else kicks ass? You kick ass, too.
It reminds me of the Palestinian women who are the ones that were going to the march.
Yeah,
for
that's
freedom.
another situation too as well. Somebody saw our last video we were showing. They want Gaza under fire, and they want to give me their opinions. One of my political friends from overseas who lives in that region, so I'm interested to talk to him and see what he has to say. But fam,
Real quick.
with the real story is what is going on. Ecuador unrest.
And this is what pisses me off about the United States, because they love talking about saving people and humanitarian aid and that we care about spreading democracy. But when we don't have a vested interest, and when we have more of an interest in supporting the establishment, corporate, capitalist type of government, we don't really care who gets killed. So that is exactly what's happening in Ecuador right now. And we have these protesters, so these indigenous poor protesters who are standing up against the corporate government are being killed.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Slaughtered.
I got a message from one of my friends, Carlos Martinez, and I had to, it was from a woman who made a broadcast online, and it was just an audio.
Yeah.
And I was asked to translate it, because this is something that is just, it's bad. And I'm gonna try to read what I translated. But before I'll read it right now, because it kind of goes along with what we're saying. But this woman said, "Hello, this is a message for all of our Latin American artists. I'm Pamela Davila, and we are broadcasting from Ecuador, where we have a murderous government and a murderous state. At this very moment, we're stationed in La Casa de la Cultura. The military has turned against the government, which we showed on the last show. Groups of military forces and indigenous protesters can only use the internet via phones or cameras to broadcast what's happening, because the entire country's corporate media and the world's media are corrupt and have sold out, and their country in particular has cut all the broadcasting signals. So we ask the entire international community that they stand in solidarity and help in spreading our message online and across social media. The area around La Casa de la Cultura in Quito, Ecuador is surrounded by police forces. There have been deaths. There have been bombs dropped on hospitals full of women and children. We have a criminal state that's lying to the world and saying there's nothing happening here. They're killing us here. Friends, we ask all of you to keep sharing everything you see online from your Ecuadorian friends on every social media site. Believe us, who are your Ecuadorian friends, sending a hug, and onward we go, always until victory." Yeah. So that is what this woman said in a broadcast, and it was like an emergency broadcast of sort. But this is what we're seeing on the ground, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody is talking about it.
Not the mainstream media.
Yeah, like the independent media here and there, but the majority of people aren't even as aware about the situation, and that is what really irritates me, because we don't care about these people being murdered. And they're socialist driven people. They're a collectivist people that are fighting against imperialism.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. Let's shed light on what happened. The first signs of what's going on. Remember that the Ecuadorian embassy in London, that's where Julian Assange was held up. They had a friendly government. Correa. He was a great president, socialistic type of president, giving back to the indigenous people. They loved him. He had his faults, just like any socialistic government that makes other investments in a capitalistic world can run into some problems. However, the people loved him and endured him because he tried to help them out. As soon as he got out of office, a name by the name of Moreno, he took office. Moreno, who kind of campaigned as a progressive, immediately turned to the United States for friendship, weapons, handing over Assange. And that was the first sign that we didn't pay attention to, where the people in Ecuador were marching for Julian Assange, already pointing out that this guy is a puppet of the United States government, and he's going to let us down, and he's going to just be the friends of the United States. And once again,
they were right.
They were right. He has fled 2 hours away. The military is somewhat split, I think, because we did see some military vehicles coming in from a different region, and they were firing at people. And there are people from the military who joined the protesters.
Yeah.
Johnny put the video up the other day. He had it up in the corner. But it's a very, very complicated situation once again, but nobody is covering it. And we said this before. Look at the protesters in Ecuador. Look at the protesters in Haiti. Look at the protesters in Iraq. They're organic as can be. Now you look at the protesters in Hong Kong. You look at the protesters in Venezuela who are protesting against the government. You look at the protesters against Nicaragua. They're very well funded. They got money. They're from the NED, NGO, all the group. But once again, Moreno is a puppet friendly of the United States government, and I'm sure he's given them weapons to kill Ecuadorians.
So Telesur actually did a pretty good little summary here, so I'm going to show this real
Please
quick.
do.
Estoy decidido a dialogar con ustedes, con quienes compartimos muchas causas.
You know, the people called on for independent media. You
Yeah.
called on independent media, and we are here, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen. We are following the
This
story.
is the only way.
With
This is
Fiorella
exactly.
got-
That's
yeah.
exactly. I had no idea. I'd never seen that Telesur video, but
Oh.
that's exactly what I was able to translate from that woman's message. That they cut all broadcasting lines, so it would be like CNN and all these other people would cut sort of broadcasting signal. So the only way they can communicate their stories are through online and reaching out to independent media. And a lot of them have been reaching out to independent media sources and activists who are known for, you know, like the people who were in the Venezuelan embassy, like Kevin sees, all of these people, they're being reached out to because those are the people that are going to actually go help.
Yeah, and we're going to keep following the situation. We don't know what's going to happen. They took over the National Assembly, the indigenous people, but you better believe it. These indigenous people have come to show up and fight for other Ecuadorians, and they have a lot of support. The military, we said, is split. Like some of those people, Johnny had that great. I love that video when he just hits the one cop and punches him, pulls him off his motorcycle, and everything's crazy because we've also seen a lot of videos of cops killing people, throwing them over bridges. We had a video of going into people's places and shooting somebody. It's just terrible what's going on. And once again, this is a puppet government of the United States. So watch for Donald Trump and Pompeo to eventually go, we have to help the Ecuadorian people. We have to help the Ecuadorian people and send in the more military or more weapons to kill more Ecuadorians who, that once again, the media is concentrating on destruction of private property rather than these people getting killed, beat, run over in the streets. It's a shame. It's disgusting, but the CONVO couch will be here to follow it.
And sorry, Pasa,
we'll
before we go, we have to show that video that Johnny had.
I'm showing it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there it is.
This is the video
It's
where
very
the
graphic.
gentleman just, you can see they're just standing there. Watch. Go back
They're there with cardboard.
Is that cardboard? It's like pieces of metal.
No, it's cardboard. And you can see a blue hat.
Boom.
Christ.
They also had a video of snipers on a building too,
That's
fam,
disgusting.
shooting at people's heads.
That's disgusting.
They don't care, man. They don't care.
Where is all the outrage? The outrage from the Democratic Party. Where is all the
From the
outrage
mainstream
from the
media.
mainstream media? Where's all the outrage from progressives who say, "Oh, we care about these people, X people"? It's the same hypocrisy that I see with Palestine. Like the moment we don't get something out of it, or we're protecting one of our allies, we don't care about humanitarian aid.
Look
We
at
only care
Ecuador.
about our interests.
Yep.
This is disgusting.
It
It's
is.
disgusting.
And tonight on 60 Minutes, follow the pro-democratic protest. I mean, come on, about Hong Kong. Follow the pro-democratic protest about
Do
Hong
you
Kong.
think if the protests were were entirely pro-democratic? I mean, there is some organic things in there, but the majority of it isn't. Because if you think about it, if they were, they wouldn't be propping it up. They wouldn't be showing it. This is why they're not showing the Haitian protests. This is why they're not showing this protest. This is why they've been siding with Guaido and trying to make it look like the Venezuelan government is so corrupt and is only to blame for everything that's going on, not our actions and our sanctions once placed on Venezuela. I mean, it is very obvious, and I hope it's becoming more clear every day to everybody that unfortunately we have been on the wrong side of things foreign policy wise for a very long time.
You know, and I hope, well, like we said, Tulsi Gabbard is involved one way or another because she knows the best about this. I would hate to see us as a nation get a lot of stuff together financially and, you know, on the ground as far as the states and our healthcare and everything like that. But then some people come and attack us because we've never changed our foreign policy. You know, we're making enemies across the globe over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Exactly.
This is how we fuel terrorism.
We got to get this straight. You know, we're dropping bombs on people. We're gassing people.
We're fomenting
Look
it.
at the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. We've killed a lot more people than Americans who have been killed. Fam, you got anything else? Johnny, you got anything else? All right, Rocal joined the party, by the way.
I want to say if you to all our fams, if you want to follow what's going on in Ecuador,
SOS.
you should follow Ecuador SOS hashtag on Twitter. That'll get you a lot of content here that we've been showing. You know.
And somebody mentioned Syrian Girl, too, about the other one. Syrian Girl, if you don't know her, she's got some stuff on Twitter. I don't know if she has her YouTube working, but somebody was mentioned Syrian Girl as well. She now lives in Australia, but she's from Damascus. And if you ever hear the term Damascus, that is pretty much talking about Assad and the Syrian Arab army, which has really done most of the work over there as well. But we need somebody to get into Ecuador. We need somebody to get into Ecuador quick and stop what's going on. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. This is just terrible. There's indigenous people getting killed. It is sad as can be. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this Sunday. I didn't watch my Jets game second half just to be with you guys because we love you. We love what you're all about. Road Cow, Squids McCracken, Patsy Gangster, Reese Mack, they joined in late. Ed Marin joined in late, but we love you. Thank you for coming over here. Same with Dylan Resnick. All these people so familiar. Teresa Connor, Scuffled World Order. Thank you so much. And over on the Facebook, really quick, we just want to say goodbye to Pijman, Jackie Pago, and Dolores Piers, and Michael Rubin. Kit Cabello has also joined on in.
Hi, Kit.
Thank you so much. We love you. For Pasta Jardula.
And Fiorella Isabel.
Johnny Sue on a Sunday.
Peace.
Combo out.
Combo out. Go Jets. I hope they didn't lose to the
Happy
Cowgirls.
Sunday.